In this video, I'm going to talk about lessons from some of the very best traders and investors in the world. Stay tuned. Hey guys, a very warm welcome to you. Okay, so 4 lessons I've got here from some of the best traders and investors in the world. Number 1, letting go of losses. This is Jessie Livermore, and he talks a lot about when a loss is there, get rid of it. Quote here, I did exactly the wrong thing. The cotton showed me a loss and I kept it. And if you've read Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, I happen to have it here actually. If you've read it, haven't read it, should I say, do so. Very, very good book. But if you have read it, you know about this cotton trade. He had his cotton trade and it showed him a loss and he kept it. Okay, so we had a wheat trade and a cotton trade. The wheat showed me a profit and I sold it out. Of all the speculative blunders there are greater than trying to average a losing game. Always sell what shows you a loss and keep what shows you a profit. So we had this cotton trade on, this wheat trade on. This cotton trade was in a big loss. The wheat trade was doing very, very well. And he sold the one that was doing very, very well and kept the cotton one. And he's saying that one of the biggest mistakes is not getting rid of the losing trade. So letting go of losses. In other words, if you've got a few swing trades on and 1 or 2 of them just aren't performing, those are the ones that you cut first. Those are the ones that aren't doing what they should be doing. Those are the ones you need to cull. The ones that are working, let them work. Let the market pay you for being right. You're right and it's still rolling. Let it roll, keep it rolling, keep it going. I'm not sure Jessie Livermore said keep it rolling, but you get the point. Okay, number 2, watching trends. Who does this come from? This comes from Alexander Elder. If you've read some of his books, have I got any nearby here? I don't, they're in my other bookshelf. Okay, Alexander, I think Come Into My Trading Room, that kind of stuff. Pretty good books, interesting. I think it's one of the very first books I read actually. Okay. This is a quote from Alexander Elder. To be a good trader, you need to trade with your eyes open. Recognize real trends and turns and not waste time or energy on regrets and wishful thinking. You know, see, there's a bit of a synergy here with day trading. Now, he's talking about swing trading and making sure you're putting your effort and focus into stuff that's really moving. So if there's a big trend in there, if you're not involved in it, you should be focused 100% on finding a way of getting involved in it. That's kind of his thought of it. And actually, from a day trading perspective, if a market is really shifting, there's volatility there, there's opportunity, and you can make good money out, then you just stay laser focused. What you don't do is carry on looking at something that's not even moving. It's not moving, nothing's happening, it's boring. Don't waste your time. And you know, he says here, don't waste your time or energy on regrets or wishful thinking. In other words, hoping something's gonna suddenly burst into life. You know, forget about it, move on to something that's more interesting. All right, guys, number 3 we have is learning your trade. This comes from the one and only Warren Buffett, investor as opposed to a trader. He says here, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. And actually, that's an interesting thing for him to say, because I know that another comment he's made is the most money's made when the risk is kind of, you can't quantify the risk, and that's why there's more opportunity there. But anyway, back to this point, learning your trade. You know, a lot of traders, unfortunately, get wiped out because they don't understand the risk of what they're doing. They don't understand the risk of, we had the SNB issue, we've had all kinds of different things come out that's unusual that have caught traders on the wrong side of things. So, you know, being an expert at it, but really understanding where the hidden risk is in what you're doing. And this comment, you know, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing, is so key. You know, I see sometimes guys who are taking, you know, pretty hefty positions in tech stocks overnight, and there's earnings coming out, and there's earnings coming out. This thing can move 10% easily up or down. That's going to equate to an account doubler or loser for you. And I didn't realize. And you think, you know, this is the kind of danger that you can get yourself into. So I know some of you are brand new, and that's useful for you if you're brand new. If you're an intermediate trader, then, you know, where does the risk come from? It comes from kind of the change in volatility. It comes from the change in market phase and things like that. So understanding and really knowing the game is what you're trading. Right, where are we now? We are number 4, putting in the work. This is Jessie Livermore again. A bit of a theme here. The game taught me the game, and it didn't spare the rod while teaching. So, you know, he's basically saying, that trading is what taught him how to trade, and it absolutely hammered him while he was doing it. And if you've been trading for a while, you know that's the case. I know that's the case. You know, the market is brutal teacher. It will teach you. If you slip up slightly, it will crack you across the face without even thinking about it. It will put you down, and you've got to claw yourself back up again, get your P&L back to where it was. You make a little error, you get cocky, it will smack you down again. These are unfortunately the rules of the market. It seems to be the unwritten rules, and Jessie Livermore says the same thing. So even all those years ago, it was the same kind of thing, guys. And another thing that it mentions here is that trading takes work. You've got to have a methodical, a structured approach, and ideas will only take you so far. The market changes from day to day. And this is the thing I think that is so hard about trading, is that we can get a strategy that's working very, very well for us, a method that's working very, very well, and then it just stops working because the market will change phase, it changes its volume, it changes its participants, it changes what it cares about, and it flicks a switch. And then all of a sudden that strategy you had is completely useless. In fact, it's worse than useless, it's actually damaging. So it's been growing your P&L, but if you carried on doing it, you're going to end up losing all you've got. And you can see that quite often with traders, unfortunately. For example, bull market, you buy moving average crossovers, you buy X% dips, you're a genius. As soon as it switches over to another market condition, then that buying dips mentality is just going to kill you. So putting in the work, understanding when the next opportunity is going to be, constantly evolving, constantly adapting, and making sure that you're the guy who, if you've got 100% allocation of trading time or time to the markets, you devote 95% of it to self-improvement, analysis, market assessment, self-assessment, trade generation, set of ideas generation, improvement, and the last slither is just for the execution of the trade. Don't be the guy who puts all the effort into sitting in front of the screen, clicking the mouse, clicking the mouse, clicking the mouse, and only a little bit of the time into trader improvement, setup improvement, all that kind of stuff. Flip it round and be that one. There's a saying, and I'm going to absolutely butcher this because I'm not quite sure how verbatim it was. I think it was Lincoln who said this: if he's been given 4 hours to chop down a tree, he's going to spend 3 hours sharpening his axe and an hour chopping down a tree. Something like that. I probably should know this, but something like that. The point is, he's not going to hack away with a blunt axe straight away. He's going to spend time preparing and getting ready for the job in hand. And that's really what we should be doing as traders. All right, guys, so there's 4 from some of the greatest traders and investors in the world. Let me know any that you've heard of in the comments section below. Always interested to see what you guys have found. Anyway, take care. Good trading, guys. Give it a subscription if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.